drugs good as gold. Invited the Taliban to come to U.S. soil. If Joe had done that, they'd all recoil. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, well, numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd want him to pay. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Double standards loud and clear. Rules for Trump, but not for peers. What they call treason, if Joe's the name, is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, well, numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Now, this is when I would play like the Demonox song that he made for me, and then start the show. Where that's usually my general progression of music. But since we already started the show, I just wanted to play that music for the Twitch folks while I figure out what the hell was going on with YouTube. And the problem is that when I tried to shut down the alarm on my UPS completely, it shut down the entire UPS, which shut off half of the side, which shut off my monitor over here, the printer over here, and unfortunately, the wireless router. And I'm sure I have a whole bunch of people in my house like, what happened to the internet? What happened to the internet? Especially my kids. So, yeah. Yes, Cosmic Rose, thank you. Had Biden done it. And that song, as well as the other songs that I've created for the show, are all available not only on YouTube. I have a playlist on YouTube where you could see it. So there's Had Biden Done It, If Trump Can't See It, Baby Incubators, A Hoax, and the Liberal Dan Radio theme song as well. But the first 4 of those are also available on Spotify as well. So if you want to share the songs either way, I would love to be able to one day to have everybody just, take one of the songs on Spotify, probably the Had Biden Done It one, and just share it. Of course, now we're getting more beeps again going on from this frickin' UPS. If we lose the internet again, I swear to God, do y'all hear the beeps? Do I need to is it aggravating? Do you hear the beeps? Or, can we just move on without me trying to have to fix this? Because sometimes it just fixes itself. There you go. See, it stopped beeping already. Yay. Yes, give a thumbs up again. Like this episode as well. Like, share, subscribe, etc. All the good stuff. Blame the cat. Even though the cats don't like me, Rose likes me. Actually, it's only Gloria that doesn't like me. But I'm not going to blame the poor kittens for that. Although I will blame the cat for not joining us for the show. Like we haven't seen Rose's butt in a very long time. So, at least you didn't hear the beeps. I was worried about the beeps for nothing. I was hearing the beeps, and it was aggravating the piss out of me. But that's weird. Twitch heard it, but YouTube didn't. But yeah, we're ignoring it because they're done right now. And I guess I need to buy a new UPS because, of course I do. More money to spend that I don't have. Yeah, not your butt. My cat Rose's butt. Let's see. It won't shut down. I mean, it beeps occasionally. It's just old, and I need to buy a new one, and that's the problem. So. What's up, Mike and Jen's Journey? Good to see you. Hey, Jojo Mojo. Hey, Damon Dog. Mike. Anybody else who I haven't said hello to yet, I apologize. Lord, I apologize. Anyway, so what were we talking about? We were talking about dirty shit for a little bit. Maybe that's why. I shouldn't be talking about that sort of stuff on the show. But basically, at the end of the day, if you had people who weren't being careful about whether or not they were spreading COVID around, why would you trust that they would be careful about not spreading anything else around, right? That's my point with that. So, anyway. So, let's go back to where we were and what we were discussing. If there's anybody else that has any examples of other examples of conservatives, whatever. If you think about it during the show, bring it up during the show. And if I catch it in the chat, we will talk about that as well. We'll bring that up as another great example of when the difference between the right and the left, the difference between how the left is altruistic and the right is selfish. And look, there are probably some people on the right who are altruistic. Maybe those people who are currently rejecting Trump. There are some people on the left who are selfish, fine, but as a general principle, as a general rule, I think it's safe to say that the people on the left are far more likely to be altruistic and far more likely to worry about their fellow man than the people on the right. Let's see, I did kind of forget to bring up one thing, but we'll bring up those images in a second. So what else we want to talk about? We have J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is now saying that ICE is going to go door to door. He wants ICE now to go door to door and start looking for people. How is that at all constitutional? How does that at all not violate the Fourth Amendment? How does that not violate the Fifth Amendment? How does that not violate the constitutional rights that people have? Because again, if they're going door to door looking for people who are the bad hombres that they claim, that's Nazi shit. Like, again, I've been warning everybody since 2016. Now, granted, I haven't had as many viewers and listeners as I, back then as I do now. But I've been talking about how Donald Trump has been using Adolf Hitler's playbook, how he's, basically favorite book is Mein Kampf or whatever, how he's constantly pushing these things and saying these things that appeal to the worst of our worst, the worst of Americans, the deplorables, as Hillary Clinton called them. He doesn't go, oh, look, we have a rose. Anyway, so they weren't worried about, people called me crazy. People called me all sorts of names or whatever. It's ridiculous. There we go. Hey, Rose, look. We'll stop talking about the Nazi BS for a second, just so people can say hello to Rose. Did you hear me talking about you and you figured you needed to come in and finally say hello to all of the liberal danimals and everybody else? You are a liberal danimal too, aren't you, Rose? Huh? Are you gonna come down and actually be a shoulder kitten, a shoulder dragon, or are you just gonna stand up there like a silly? Yes, my cat has a cloaking device, by the way. The cat will phase in and out of, will come in and out of phase. But yeah, hello, little Rosie Posey. You wanna pull back for me and try and pull my arm back again like you did that one time? That was very cute. No, you disappeared. Oh wait, there's tail. What are you doing? Oh, there you go. Rose said hi and Rose said bye. No, the chair is not green. The chair is like a dingy black or whatever. Anyway. So, the big hook, you effectively live in a police state. They're using SIM and device ID data to track you, know where you're sleeping, and know when you're going to work. They know when you are sleeping. They know when you're awake. They're a bunch of fucking Nazis. Vote them out for goodness sake. Hey! That would have been good for last month, right? Yeah, anyway. I'm trying to get this freaking image open. Let's see if we can just bring it up like this. There we go. And we want to shrink that down a bit, but we also need to bring up a few other things before we start talking about the Nazi BS. That's another one right there. Copy image address, and of course, paste image. Haha, there we go. All right. So let's start over, shall we? Because we were going to talk about some other stuff. So J.D. Vance, before we were interrupted by Rose, J.D. Vance was telling about how he wants ICE to go door to door, knocking door to door. Again, blatantly unconstitutional, but that's like stuff from the Diary of Anne Frank. Like, conservative MAGA folks read the Diary of Anne Frank and don't go, oh, that poor girl. Oh, that's sad what happened to the Jews. They look at the Diary of Anne Frank and they're like, ooh, that's some good ideas. Let's learn from what these Nazis are doing and implement them now. Again, I was warning people since 2016 that the Nazi shit was coming. And people called me crazy. People called me nuts. People called me all sorts of names because of the fact that I was insisting that what was coming was coming. But nobody wanted to believe me. Several other people said the same things. I'm sure Hal said the same things. Hal made some other very apt predictions about what would happen with a Donald Trump presidency or whatever. And in the first term, he did try a lot of shit, but he did also appoint people who pushed back on him a little bit. Now we don't have the pushback. Now he made sure to install Nazis at all aspects, from Bondi to Nome to various other people. People who are going to implement the Nazi policies, which are now including going door to door to go check to see if the people living in each house are the people that they're looking for. And of course, the people that they're looking for include people waiting to be naturalized who they pull out of line. It includes over 100 cruise ship workers, some of them deported out of Norfolk, Virginia, others deported from other places. I think all of them were Filipino cruise ship workers. They had 500,000 people with humanitarian parole that they rejected. They revoked the humanitarian parole. These people did nothing wrong except for getting humanitarian parole from President Biden. And that's why this president doesn't like them. He is going after not the worst of the worst, but the low-hanging fruit, and even people who are here legally. They're working here legally. They're citizens. That Maryland woman is now released. She was in custody. She finally got released, but she's still not. The whole issue is not over yet, and they're still fighting to try and keep these people. The head ICE folks, the border security, that fool, I forget his name, begins with a B. It's not bitch, but he is one. These, they're basically telling people what exactly the horrible things they're going to do, and because they know they have enough people currently who are either being silent about it, or they tacitly approve it. And it's ridiculous because if, Biden went door to door hunting down the people that he felt was criminals,
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, they'd scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Dean goes, I've been screaming at the TV for 4 days straight. Only 4 days? Oh, man, you're slacking. Screaming at the TV for much more than that. Anyway, but let's look at, if you haven't seen this bullshit yet, I need to move myself over again because I had not that one. Let's see. Here we are. We're back here. There we go. So, Kristi Noem, on her podium in discussing ICE things, says, one of ours, all of yours, is what the sign says. I guess let me turn down the bomb side of things because it's blocking the image. There you go. One of ours, all of yours. This slogan, adopted by Kristi Noem, is in regards to ICE officers. One of ours, all of yours is not surprisingly taken from the Nazis, who retaliated for the killing of an SS officer by murdering virtually all the inhabitants of the Czech village of Ladis, apparently none of whom had anything to do with it, and razing the village to the ground. This is the words that she's using. Homeland Security, again, run by Kristi Noem. We'll have our home again. The violent incel support group known as ICE is quoting a KKK theme song in between taking freedom and lives away. The song, By God We'll Have Our Home Again, is a white nationalist song sung to the tune of Rolling Down to Old Maui, a 19th century sea shanty. Its lyrics are most often credited to a U.S. fraternal neo-Nazi group. It was adapted as the official theme song of the Canadian Diagolon movement. Maybe Big Hook can, in chat, let us know a little bit more about that group. But still, these people are in full-on, full-throated shouting, hey, we're Nazis, we're doing Nazi shit, because they're believing that when, they're the people who they want to see this and say, hey, cool, awesome, these are our people, that they'll be continuing to support this administration, and then they're hoping that the other people, again, will be as silent as the grave, or start gaslighting and trying to tell us, oh, we're crazy again. We're just crazy people who want to blame everything on Nazis or whatever and don't want to look objectively. No. We are looking at these things objectively. We are seeing what is going on with this administration, and this administration is full-throated using Nazi tactics, from those two slogans to going door to door, etc. And it's not the only ones. I mean, Donald Trump's whole fake news, the lying media. Hitler said Lügenpresse, the lying press, because he wanted to discredit the media whenever they would say anything about Hitler, so that they could, oh, see, they're lying. I told you they'd lie about me, and here they are lying about me. Donald Trump's like, oh, that's a good idea. Let me do that as well, right? I mean, threatening to invade Greenland. I mean, saying it's going to happen the easy way or the hard way. And again, the easy way or the hard way is also how they referred to what might happen with Cuba. And idiot Lawrence O'Donnell, as we discussed on the show the other day, was like, oh, we're never going to do anything about Greenland. It's just a distraction. No, it's not a distraction. Donald Trump may very well have ADHD on crack, and I speak for that as somebody with self-diagnosed ADHD, but he absolutely wants to go after all of these things because he believes somehow it's going to help him. Now, the right is claiming, oh, what if China takes over Greenland? How the hell is China going to take over Greenland? That's freaking stupid. But again, invading countries who are, you are viewing as a threat to your, whatever it is that you want to do with your Nazi bullshit is something else that Adolf Hitler did. We could go down line after line after line, action after action and after action, and show exactly how this administration is following up and being, the Fourth Reich, basically. They are basically turning into the Fourth Reich. I wouldn't be surprised if they start calling themselves the Fourth Reich at some point in the next year, sooner rather than later. And you wonder why, when an attack takes place on a synagogue, when it was first announced that a synagogue in Mississippi burned. And my immediate thought was, there's no way that this is an accident. This president has embraced anti-Semitism, has used anti-Semitism to absolutely go after his political goals. And he's emboldened anti-Semites. So when he says, when the news media says, hey, there was a synagogue that was burned down, my thought immediately says, this was not an accident. This happened purposely. And lo and behold, it happened. It absolutely happened. And Stephen Spencer Pittman is the individual who is accused of attacking and burning the synagogue. There was a video showing a hooded person spreading gasoline all over the place, who then lit the place on fire, and they found him, and his name is Stephen Spencer Pittman, and they're alleging that he's the one that did it. Apparently, he called the synagogue of Satan, which just goes to show you how stupid these people are, because Jews don't even believe in hell. We don't believe in Satan. That's not something that we believe in. But they're going to call, us the church. I'm surprised he didn't say the Church of Satan instead of the Synagogue of Satan or whatever. I don't know. He also claimed to do it because of Jewish ties. Now, I don't know. Was he not happy? Was he just happy with Trump ties and didn't want the Jewish people, cornering the market and trying to sell ties in opposition to Trump ties? I don't know. But still, again, Jewish, there's going to be humor that comes from me because I'm Jewish, and we were going to use gallows humor to make it through, because that's how Jewish people have made it through the history of Judaism. We've always used gallows humor and other forms of humor to survive when people are coming after us, and they are still coming after us to this day. Wait, Josh, did you get an ivermectin ad? That's ridiculous. That's hilarious, but it's ridiculous. Church certificate. How exactly does the MAGA base even operate on this? Because you have the violent anti-Semites like Fuentes, Owens, and Tucker. Then you have the rabidly pro-Israelis like Huckabee. But again, you could be pro-Israel and still be anti-Semitic. So it's not, those are things. Richard Spencer is a fucking Nazi, and he's pro-Israel. He supports the right of Israel to exist. Why? Because he wants all the Jews over there and not here. That's why. again, many of the people that are pro-Israel, like the Mike Huckabee types, the evangelical Christian types, are not pro-Israel because they actually like Jewish people. They're pro-Israel because in order for their prophecies to come true, the end times have to come. And in order for the end times to have to come, you have to have a whole bunch of Jews over there so they can die first. With friends like that, who the hell needs an enemy? Instead of Israel, say pro-IDF. That's good. I like that. I like that they're not pro-Israel, they're just pro-IDF. That's clever. Ben Shapiro said he applauds what the IDF is doing. Well, Ben Shapiro's a scumbag. So, Dean, maybe this is a prelude to ICE in your town. Let's see, what is there? Don says, Jeff, I'm so disappointed today. I'm not even sure your comedy could cheer me up. But Jeff doesn't make any jokes anymore. He's being serious right now, right? Dean says they put up a giant blow-up figure of Trump downtown here in Angleton. Now, is it one of those giant blow-up figures that like makes Trump with a diaper and whatever and makes him sad and upset and it's going to have him throw ketchup at the wall again? Or is it like a golden calf type blow-up of meant to worship Trump and, you know, deify him, etc.? Mike and Jen's journey, I honestly don't know what to say on the Greenland thing. I mean, it's stupid. Again, there is no reason for it. There's no reason to take over Greenland. If we wanted to, I mean, we have bases on Greenland. I'm sure if we needed to use Greenland for national security, Greenland, without Trump being president, would probably be like, absolutely, if you need to use our territory and you need us to help you out, we'll help you out. They wouldn't say no. Doesn't mean you have to take it over. And again, but these stupid idiots are like, oh, 85% of Greenland wants to split from Denmark, so that must mean they want to join us? No, because the same amount of people don't want to join the United States either. Atrocious at every game. Imagine if Joe commissioned a giant blow-up doll of himself. You don't get it every time, Atrocious, at every game. I mean, I know what you're doing, and I often like to appease you with playing the music because it's my favorite of my 4 songs. But anyway, it's not going to happen all the times. Maybe this, but you know, the national security thing, again, is a lie that's told by Donald Trump, as we talked about the other day, to allow him to push for whatever it is he wants to push for. He thinks it's an excuse for him to be able, oh, as long as he says it's national security, his base is going to let him get away with anything, be it attacking Venezuela, taking their oil, being attacking Cuba, supposedly, or whatever they're going to do with Cuba, be it taking over Greenland by hook or by crook, be it claiming that the windmills are causing a threat to national security, and we've discussed that the previous show as well. But we all know that the reason that Donald Trump doesn't like windmills is because it's not because of national security, it's because he doesn't like to look at them. Because
A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills.
yeah, anyway, so there you go. And also, we also have discussed on this show that Donald Trump lacks object permanence. So maybe he also, if he's so triggered by these windmills, that if he doesn't allow them to be built, he won't be able to see them. And as such, no windmills will exist if he can't see it, because Donald Trump never obtained that skill of object permanence.
If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the extinct list. Object permanence, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist.
Anyway, so, okay, that's like 4 ivermectin ad pop up. Why am I getting... It's probably because I discussed COVID, and I was talking about people refusing to mask up or whatever. But it's very bizarre that they're going to be playing ivermectin ads during the show. Like, that's weird. Like, I don't know what money they think they're going to be making by showing ivermectin ads. But the way to avoid ivermectin ads, or any ads on the channel, is to make sure... Although... I mean, no, I don't do those ads on YouTube. We don't do the interrupting ads, but I guess you see a pop-up ad for ivermectin, so you're still going to see that. YouTube keeps telling me, you'll make more money if you have ads, but I don't want the people watching the show to have to deal with the ads during the show. Maybe the people who watch afterwards, maybe, but, you know, I'm only making like, I don't know, $10 a month on ads at this point, so it's not really that big of a deal. So now, Michael, come on, you gotta quote Trump right there. Michael asks, has anybody had their daily cup of Clorox? And you weren't supposed to drink the bleach. You were supposed to inject the disinfectant in the body. That's how we figured it would work. Of course, again, when we don't report things exactly right, the conservatives go, oh, they're wrong, so we have to be perfect, but they can lie all the goddamn time, all the live long day or whatever. So, yeah, atrocious at every game, exactly, showing ivermectin ads to a liberal audience. Well, maybe they know one or two conservatives may very well be interacting with the video as of right now, but it's also possible that I get more conservatives commenting on my shorts than I do the short videos, not my actual shorts that I'm wearing. Who says I'm wearing any shorts? I might not be wearing any shorts right now.
Oh my.
Anyway, but so Victor goes, I get a lot of ICE recruitment ads during live streams. Yeah, I'm looking for work. I'm guaranteeing you that that's not one job I will qualify for. Now, I mean, I'm big. I'm a big guy. I've lost 150 pounds again, but I'm a big guy. So there's, the fact that I probably wouldn't be physically capable, but that hasn't stopped other people from applying to be members of ICE either, right? So there's that issue. However, I'm not going to be taking a job in the federal government anytime in the near future. So it's just not going to happen. Yes, Dean, exactly. Their lies about Renee Good are outrageous. They are absolutely outrageous. And I don't understand how anybody could say the things that they say with an absolute straight face. One of the things that their new thing, or at least one of the more recent things that they're saying, because I don't know how new you can say, because Renee Good is not that long dead, so it's hard to call something a new thing. But one of the more recent claims is, oh, she was obstructing traffic. Not that she was obstructing ICE from doing their job, because when you say that she was obstructing ICE from doing their job, I'm like, no, you could just go around. You could just go around, and you wouldn't have to have dealt with Renee Good at all. You could have just went around and gone about your business, and then went around harassing all the people who are here, who you would think are here illegally, when many of them are not, right? So, she was violating the law. I mean, it's not a crime to block a lane of traffic. I mean, it might be a traffic infraction, but who is responsible for dealing with traffic infractions? It's not ICE. It's the local police department. So if ICE had an issue with how this individual woman, how Renee Good, was impeding the flow of traffic in one lane and one lane only, they should have contacted the police and said, hey, there's this person, she's sitting in the middle of the street, could you please instruct her to move out of the way or whatever, because we believe it's not safe, she's interfering with our operations, blah, 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 lather, rinse, repeat. No, but it's a traffic infraction. And again, they could have all went around, they could have all driven around, but they instead decided to go harass the nice woman sitting in her vehicle. And I say nice woman sitting in the vehicle because she was very polite and nice to the officer that approached her, as you can see on one of the cams or whatever. Now, of course, I think her wife had shouted out, "Drive, baby, drive." And this is another one of the new lies that are coming out that they're trying to use, because they are now saying because her spouse, I guess her widow at this point, says, "Drive, baby, drive," that means that she was telling the spouse, that she was telling Renee Good to go run the person over. No, that just means drive, aka go away from the area. Remove yourself from the situation so it doesn't escalate any further. And as you can see, even when the first shot was fired, clearly he was to the side of the vehicle and not in front of the vehicle, because she turned her wheel, and that's how physics works, right? Right? So, let's see. Trucker John, now ICE holes are reciting 18 UNC 11 to everybody. I guess they think that excuses murder. Well, anything to them excuses murder. Ever back from George Floyd and people before George Floyd should have complied means they were murdered and they don't care because they're justified, right? Let's just look up 18 USC 101. 18 U.S.C. 111 makes it a federal crime to forcibly assault, resist, oppose, impede, intimidate, or interfere with federal officers, judges, or employees, and sometimes their families' assistants when they perform official duties or on account of them, with penalties varying from fines or imprisonment up to 1 year for simple assault. Severe penalties, 20 years more if a deadly weapon is used. Well, that's why they're claiming that they're weaponizing the vehicles. I mean, you're going to see more people claiming that vehicles are weaponized. That's why I don't believe the story from DHS coming out of Portland, because they're also saying that the people who were shot there weaponized a vehicle. But that's the same thing as, oh, stop resisting. That's the same thing as stop reaching for my gun. Now they're just going to claim, you know, you're weaponizing a vehicle to try and justify their horrific Maralagestapo tactics, because that's who they are. They're the Maralagestapo. See, the police officer who grabbed her door and tried to drag her out escalated the situation. He should have just talked to her calmly and asked her to move. Exactly. That's exactly what could have happened. But they are bloodthirsty, and the people who support them are bloodthirsty bootlickers of the Maralagestapo. It's as simple as that. Allison Gill was saying that they say the number, but they can't recite it, which states they only can arrest you if they forcibly resist or impede them in their actions. And nothing that Renee Good was doing was impeding an officer from acting and doing their job. Now, of course, I would argue that they weren't even doing their job, period. So, see, when that code was written outside a building or courthouse, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. It charges a different game. Drive, baby, drive scenes like, let's get the fuck out of here. And I think she was out of the car, but still, she was like, look, just drive away, just move away, drive, baby, drive. But to these fucking idiots, they will say that because drive, baby, drive means run that person over, which it clearly doesn't. Meanwhile, again, terrorist Barbie, a.k.a. Ashley Babbitt, she broke through a broken window of a locked door that was securing the area where the people who were trying to vote on the January 6th issues of, confirming the election results, she was murdered. Why? But it's never, Ashley Babbitt should have complied. So if they don't think that Ashley Babbitt should have complied and there was no deadly force that was justified with there, then why are they going to say the argument of anybody else should have complied? It's because they just don't agree with them. And that's the only thing. If they agree with you and what you're doing, they will take a stand and stand up for you. If they disagree with you and what you're doing, they are not going to say anything whatsoever. They're not going to say anything because they are more concerned with supporting the fascist policies of this Nazi dictatorship than they are worried about, being consistent or being good people, etc. So, let's see. I saw ICE recruitment ad on YouTube saying using the original Pokemon theme song, I'm heartbroken, Pokemon, my childhood is ruined. Yeah, I mean, I saw the Gotta Catch 'Em All thing as well, and it's, again, just goes to show that they're childish and deplorable. Ashley Babbitt was in misery, tied up in conspiracy theories bent on destroying our government. Yes, yeah, that's why I call her terrorist Barbie, because she actually was committing a crime. She broke into the Capitol with other people who were screaming that they wanted to murder the vice president, and she's in front of this large horde of people trying to violently enter through a locked door. And the police officer who was there, who was trying to protect the politicians on the other side of that locked door, took action and shot. And then did not prevent her from getting first aid. People tried to attempt first aid to try and save her life after she was flat on her back. These members of the Maralagestapo have prevented people from going and rendering aid to Renee Good when she was bleeding out in her car. A doctor was there and they said, no, get back. Because again, it's a bunch of bloodthirsty thugs who only care about making America white again. And there's more bullshit that came around. Let's see. I think I just remembered one other horrible image that they used. Let's see if it's in my whatchamacallit. Oh, great. There's a... Oh, Jesus Christ. Anna Kasparian is trying to pivot the Iranian stuff to whatchamacallit. Yeah, thank you, young turf. We don't need you anymore. Fuck off. There's one more image or whatever. I'm not finding it right now, but there was another image or whatever, basically that says what our country would look like when it was done. Is basically a beach or whatever, and then basically just saying, oh, we're going to be so wonderful once ICE is done, basically removing everybody who is unwanted, and unwanted basically means almost anybody who's not white, right? So exactly, Trucker John. They said they didn't fucking care if the guy was a physician, and of course after he shot her 3 times, the guy was like, bitch. So yeah, the only bitch is you, the one who needed to pull out a gun and murder somebody. That's the only bitch involved, right? See, what's the other thing that somebody brought up? Pokemon made it so that they have 3D to track you within 3 feet now. Nice. See, now Charlie Kirk is a saint to GOP MAGA. Was Charlie Kirk going to leave? I don't know. The trainers need to be looked at and the hiring practices need to be looked. No, what needs to happen is ICE needs to disband. Anybody who's a trainer for ICE needs to be fired. Anybody who's an agent for ICE needs to be fired. And then a new organization needs to be created in its place if it's needed. But you should not be hiring any of the people who are currently involved in ICE. And you need to make sure that, if they committed any crimes during this process, the processes that are in place, or at least the processes that they violated that should be in place, right? Those people who are aiding and abetting the domestic terrorism of the ICE agents that are actively working to murder people or to illegally detain and deport people, all of those people need to be punished. And then maybe you could, start a new group under some other agency, or maybe even just, again, create a new agency, but it can't have the same people. And they have to you have to be sure that they're going to do the job that you want them to do. So, DOJ said earlier today they will not be investigating or prosecuting Jonathan Ross. Of course not. But it's the job of the state officials to prosecute Jonathan Ross because it's a state crime. But, of course, the FBI is blocking the state from being able to have any sort of access to any of the materials that would be required to cause him to suffer from the actions that he did on that day when he murdered Renee Good. But speaking of people, Officer Jonathan Ross, ICE Officer Jonathan Ross. This is his GoFundMe page. He has raised $550,000 towards a potential legal defense, including one by William Ackman, who's a billionaire hedge fund owner, who I believe is innocent until proven guilty. He's not even on trial yet. There is no charges. This guy's raising $550,000 and the federal government isn't even going to come down on him, so you have to have the state come in and do any other charges that you might want to do. But yeah, after seeing all the media BS about a domestic terrorist getting GoFundMe, I feel the officer that was 1,000% justified in the shooting deserves to have a GoFundMe. Funds will go to help him. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. You're just aiding and abetting a domestic terrorist and trying to get this person off. Now, does everybody deserve, or if he does go to trial, does he deserve to have a fair trial? Absolutely. And that's the purpose of having a defense attorney, is to make sure that there's a fair trial that goes on, because only in a fair trial can you say that justice takes place. So he, like everybody else, gets a fair trial. Unfortunately, ICE and the other folks involved in the Department of Justice don't believe that everybody gets a fair trial. They don't believe that everybody gets due process. They're violating the Supreme Court order that said that everybody gets due process. It was a 9-0 Supreme Court order. So these fucking idiots are going to be like, no, these people don't get due process, blah, blah, blah. This is for citizens. Well, no, it's for everybody. And I will say it's for everybody, even for the worst of the worst, the deplorables, the people who clearly, in my opinion, murdered other people. Because, again, that's the only way you get justice, is by making sure that everybody has a fair trial, that everybody gets due process. Simple as that. That Clyde dude would probably keep the cash. That would be hilarious, though, if he just took the money and just ran off to a country with no extradition with $500,000. Like, that would be fucking hilarious. So, okay, officially lost even more of my faith in humanity. What about people who are literally starving? They don't give a shit, and they're stopping. They're saying, thank you for the follow, Jute Mill, appreciate you, and also Big Amp Trice, thank you for following earlier, as well as Cyber Knight earlier, who followed me as well over on Twitch. But yeah, they're gonna cut off funds for food stamps to Minnesota because they want to make sure we don't want to make sure that fraud is going on again, because they're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. People are going to starve. People are not going to get the food that they need to have. There's going to be malnutrition, all because this administration wants to blame everybody for the actions of a few. It's as simple as that. It's another one of the very wrongs of this country and this administration that is running this country, is that they are going to throw every baby out with all the bathwater. They're going to make sure that more people are harmed than need to be in order to fight supposed fraud that's going on. Now, should you cut down on fraud in federal programs? Absolutely. But start at like the military-industrial complex. Start at the big-time frauds. Start at the people who are defrauding the government for millions or billions. But no, Donald Trump pardoned them. Donald Trump pardoned the people who defrauded the U.S. government. And because they were pardoned and didn't just have their sentences commuted, they don't have to pay back restitution. So Donald Trump will protect people who commit fraud as long as they make campaign contributions, or as long as they submit things like, pay for things that were the concept of the phones. Apparently a lot of people have ordered those Trump phones, those gold phones, and nobody has gotten them yet because, again, it wasn't a real phone. It was just a concept of a phone. That's what this administration, that's what this president is all about. It's all about the grift. He's going to get it. So it doesn't matter that Donald Trump is claiming to not take a salary, because again, if he donates the salary to charity, he just gets to write that off of his taxes, so it benefits him anyway. It just gives him the money that's being paid to him, and then directly going to some charity, assuming he's telling the truth about the bullshit, because I don't believe he's telling the truth about anything, so why would I believe he's actually donating to charity? But let's say he was actually donating to charity, it just benefits him with the tax write-off. So I love you, atrocious at every game. You're so fun to have on my chats. Like, I love all of the chats, but I love just the play the head Biden done it clip. Play the head Biden done it clip again. Big Hook. Texas Paul was saying that they are using foreign mercenaries posing at ICE enforcement doing bounty hunter shit. Now, I haven't seen that. I wouldn't put it past them. Let's just put it that way. I would not put it past them. I wouldn't be surprised if they hired Russian troops to come here. If he was paying Putin to say, hey, come bring these troops over here. Maybe, the remaining people from Cuba who didn't get killed in the Venezuela raid are now have now been convinced, okay, you're going to work for us as a mercenary, or you're going to go to prison, right? Let's see. How about someone investigate our government, this one in particular, for robbing us fucking blind in broad daylight with no mask or gloves? I mean, that should happen, but it's not going to happen until after this president leaves. So, what else? Want to make sure to so there's the JD Vance with that. There's 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 the stupid GoFundMe and the billionaire Bill Ackman again, who's I'm a big believer in our legal principle that one is innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, except when they're not. Did you get paid to the GoFundMe as well for the person who actually the family might actually need it, not the one with the dead wife? No, I bet you didn't. So. Damon Dog, I almost forgot. Christy Gardner said that they're going to start using drones. Of course. And they'll probably not just use drones to go track people. They'll probably use drones to attack people as well. And then they'll, make some excuse as to why that's okay too. Because again, this is the most important thing here. If you're seeing people who are being silent about this bullshit, that means your silence is complicitness if you have the privilege to speak up. I'll say that again. Silence in the face of this tyranny is complicitness if you have the privilege to speak up and speak out against it. Now, I'm not going to be critical of people who are in marginalized and oppressed groups who are afraid to speak out against their marginalization and oppression. I'm not going to do that. But if you are sitting here and you're silent about this and you have the ability to speak up and say something and you don't, you're tacitly approving of what's going on in this administration. And I will be critical of you for it. It's as simple as that. Obviously, there are some exceptions. If you were to have the privilege, but for some reason were constrained by some, civil service rules or whatever that prevents you from speaking about political things, fine. I'm the exceptions prove the rule. Again, that's I will always use the line, the exceptions prove the rule. So I'm not going to try and say, oh, what about these people? What about these people? Now, I'll clearly state that I'm not going to judge people who are in marginalized, oppressed groups. But if you are, for some reason, in a group who is privileged, a group that should be able to speak out, and you don't, but you happen to be one of those exceptions, you're an exception that proves the rule. I'm not talking about you. So, someone raised a GoFundMe for Good's widow, raised $1.5 million just a couple of days. She had to shut down and ask people to start donating to other worthy causes. Exactly. That's what good people do. That's what altruistic people do. Again, that's the difference between the left and the right. The left will raise enough funds to be able to handle what they need to handle, and then they'll say, go contribute to other people who need it more than we do. The right, give us all the money you possibly can. Let me grift as much as possible, because what's more important is supporting us and not supporting anybody else. So... And look, Big Hook, using military gear and weapons against the populace where it becomes a police state is what happened in Germany in 1933. Exactly. And I've been saying that we were in 1933 for a while now. But nobody listens to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. That's why I say it's the best show that you're not listening to. So, also, y'all are, but many people aren't. We need more listeners, right? Maybe if more people listen to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right, they would have been forewarned about what was going on, because I predicted most of it. That's the frustrating thing, is when I can see it happening, and I say that it's going to happen, and I either don't get listened to or get scoffed or mocked or whatever, and then it happens. And nobody's like, oh, you're right. So, Erica Kirk's GoFundMe has raised over $9.5 million and is still up and running. Isn't hers a Give, Send, Go, though? Isn't that what or did she actually get a GoFundMe as well? But yeah. But again, she's a grifter. She is just as much of a grifter as the rest of them are. And I'm still waiting for the Usha JD divorce so that JD Vance can go marry Erica Kirk. And there's a reason why Erica Kirk has 3 Ks in her name, right? Right? I mean, normally Erica's with a C, right? But this is Erica Kirk with 3 Ks. Just like the 3 Ks that are silent in Republican Party, right? Dean Baker, that's 2 of us, Dan. We have the site. Just the 2 of us. We can make it if we try, just the 2 of us, you and I. Anyway, so karaoke on Liberal Dan Radio, talk from left, that's right. Jute Mill, we cannot be silent in the face of creeping fascism. Absolutely, you are absolutely 100% correct. Thank you for that. Yeah, and first they came for that poem. First they came for the lesbian mothers, and they didn't speak up. Then they came for the head of the Treasury, and we just... Well, that's the thing. Apparently, going after the head of the Treasury is somehow more than enough to get people to start speaking out against Trump. Like, was it Thune? Or is it... No, Tom Tillis. Tom Tillis, I think, is the one that said that he's now not going to confirm any Trump appointment to the feds, simply because, while this whole thing is going on, because he thinks it's ridiculous. Now, shooting an innocent woman in the face was not enough for him to speak up and do anything about it, right? But harming the guy who's in charge of the money, that's enough to get a conservative person. Again, because, get all riled up again, because that might affect him. He doesn't care about the lesbian woman. Not one bit. He doesn't care about the people fighting against ICE, because the actions of ICE to Republicans, to conservatives, to the MAGA folks, to the right wing, are a feature and not a bug, to use software development parlance, so to speak. So they're going to continue to support ICE and support these actions, but God forbid you mess with the money guys, right? So it's ridiculous. Oh, Dean Baker, I'm more Beatles, 2 of us. 2 of us standing so close on our way back home. We're on our way home. We're on our way home. We're going home. Anyway, I do like that 2 of us as well. So see. The economy is in shambles. Texas Ball has all the receipts. Restaurants are going under like crazy. People are defaulting on mortgages. Hedge funds are all trying to sell now. Yep. I'm wondering if that's ever going to cause AMC, the AMC stock to rise up if people start trying to close their shorts. Or else, because they're losing their shorts, right? Let's see. Josh says, oh, sweet, just found out I got a paid week off at the end of the month. That's nice. I only have a paid off Monday. But even though I'm off Monday, we'll be here. We'll be here on Liberal Dan Radio, talk from left, that's right. Right? So, but thank you, Chucker John. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you as always. And if you haven't gone to follow Chucker John yet on YouTube, please make sure to do so, because his show is also a very good show. Now, he has more subscribers than me, so most likely all of you have already. But I don't know. I don't know why I'm still stuck at below 1,400. I need to get my numbers up, but I still haven't been able to crack that code. Let's see. Ali Osho, you were right, but fascism does not work if people are smart and aware. I like how you put people in quotes. Yeah. People, as Trump might say. So, but yeah. And here's one of the things, I guess, to bring up. The according to this Wired article, let's bring this up here real quick so I can read it more easily. GoFundMe is allowing again fundraising campaign for the potential legal defense of an immigration and customs enforcement agent who fatally shot a civilian. Fundraiser is titled Jonathan Ross. ICE officer Jonathan Ross seeks at least $550,000, and they're almost there, to support a potential legal expenses for the ICE agent identified as having shot and killed, aka murdered, Renee Good, mother of 3, widow of a military veteran, and during an encounter with immigration agents in Minneapolis. The GoFundMe campaign stated purpose: raising money for legal defenses following a killing, directly conflicts with GoFundMe's terms of service, which specifically bars fundraisers that are intended to support legal defense of people accused with financial or violent crimes. GoFundMe has not publicly explained why the Ross fundraiser remains active despite its terms of service stating users are not to use the service or platform to raise funds for the legal defense of financial and violent crimes, including those related to money laundering, murder, robbery, assault, battery, sex crimes, and other crimes against minors. But here's the thing, the next paragraph, Wired goes, Ross has not been formally charged with any crime. So that's what I'm thinking is the issue here, is because he hasn't officially been charged, that means that you can raise the funds with the GoFundMe. Potentially, if the state of Minnesota were to be able to go, hey, we're going to press charges against this guy, then at that point, the GoFundMe would seem to be against the policies. But that seems to be a little bit of a weird way to wiggle out of not having to follow your own damn policies. John Glass, I'm losing faith in all humanity. Oh, I've been there, dude. I am absolutely been there. Michael McAndrews, some people might survive 2026. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's financially, it's looking rough for me. Unless I can actually get a new job that's actually going to pay me more than my last one does, find a new career someplace else, it's going to be very rough for me. And I know it's going to be very rough for a lot of people as well. But, you know, as old boy Donald Trump says,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. I keep always wanting to look over here. Like even though I know, you know, the chats are over here, I keep on wanting to look over here. So maybe I just put both of these chats over here. Maybe I'll keep me more attuned right at the camera, right? But sometimes you get a little odd look of me looking off to the side somewhere, and that's why I have like 3 monitors in front of me, so that's why I'm not necessarily always looking at the camera. Thank you, Michael, for that new job fund. I did sign up for whatchamacallit, LinkedIn Premium or whatever. You get a free month or whatever, and I guess this is an interesting part of my job search is that as soon as I signed up for LinkedIn Premium, I got like 4 or 5 instant spam bots messaging me. Hey, awesome! You're looking for a job, right? Here's blah 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 blah. And then like at least 2 of them have already been banned from the platform. And then another one was seemingly wanting me to pay for some app or whatever so they could, you know, make my resume better so that the job that they're going to help me find supposedly is, you know, we'll look at my resume and be like, oh, that's a good resume. That's stupid. It's not going to happen. It's probably just a scam, and I'm not worrying about it. So, anyway, has anyone DPD? Has anyone complained to GoFundMe because I know they made a point of taking down the page of the racist coffee chick in Wisconsin? Maybe people need to complain more. Maybe, but you'd think that a media asking them about it would be enough to be like, oh, maybe we should do something, right? But nope. They're not gone. They haven't done it yet, at least. It's still up there and kicking. Again, hypocrisy abounds in this dystopian present that we are currently living in. So, anyway, what else are we going to? What else is in the news, I should say, or what else is in my notifications? Let's see. Oh, they're complaining about Star Trek, the new Star Trek that's coming out too. Oi. See. I don't know what are those black squares for? Is that something a circle that I'm not seeing, or what? I don't know. See if there's anything that we missed in top stories or whatever. Oh, there's Iran claims it quelled protest even as unrest. Again, Donald Trump said that he would go potentially help over there too. Nobody needs Donald Trump's help. Donald Trump's help is not helpful to most people, right? You even had Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's still out there criticizing this president. And when MTG, old 6B, goes against you, you know you got problems. But unfortunately, MAGA is a cult, and the people who rebel against the cult automatically are seen as apostate and are not going to be looked at in the same way as they might have looked at it before when those people were still kissing the hindquarters of Donald John Trump. Big Hook, Alison Gill, Leah Miller have both posted links what to put in fields to cancel the GoFundMe as it violated terms of service. Awesome. We'll have to look that up, I suppose. Maybe we'll talk about that more Wednesday if it hasn't been shut down yet. So, see, 1,000 more immigration officers are heading to Minneapolis. Sources say as tensions flare. Oh, that's good. I mean, again, this is going to be. I can only see the conflagration that's going to take place once more and more law enforcement, in quotes, once the ICE shows up and they start going door to door like J.D. Vance said that they're going to do. Like, at some point, enough is going to be enough. And here's the other thing to bring up that I think is important to bring up, is at some point, people are going to be fed up. People are going to start saying, you know what? Even the people who are vehemently anti-gun are going to potentially start saying, you know what? Maybe I need to rethink my anti-gunness, and instead I need to go arm up myself. And maybe those people will take actions that would be deemed illegal. I'm not saying that I'm doing it. I'm not justifying doing that, but there's going to come a point where people are going to be fed up, and they're going to be tired of simply marching. They're going to be tired of simply protesting or throwing snowballs at ICE vehicles or whatever, and they're going to start taking more drastic actions, which is going to escalate everything even further. But here's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and say to the people that they shouldn't be doing that. What I should be saying is that if you don't want things to flare up because of the fascism that you're pushing, stop being fascists. That's the point. That's what needs to be said. Don't tell people who have been nonviolent protesters up to this point that they need to remain nonviolent. Tell the people who are having acts of violence, that are performing acts of violence against our communities. Tell them to start behaving. Tell them to stop violating the law. Tell them to comply with what the Constitution says. So, DPD, Liberal Dan, have you considered being a delivery driver for Kroger's? Well, we don't have a Kroger here, so there's that. We're even losing one of our chains here, and they're either becoming Aldi's or they're becoming Rouse's. So no Kroger's. But at this point, $29 to $33 an hour, it's probably not going to cut it, because of all the other bills that I have and everything that's added up, especially with everything that took place in the past 2 years in my life. My mother-in-law passing away, us inheriting the house that we now have to pay a mortgage on, yada, 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 lather, rinse, repeat. So, Brandy says they are already going door to door. Of course they are. And again, the problem is that they're doing so much. They're trying to flood the zone that we're going to miss things, which is why we need all hands on deck. It's why we need to support more left, progressive, liberal, whatever talk shows. You know, shows like mine, Texas Paul, Trucker John, Boston Brian, Hal, etc. Now, I know all of y'all support Hal. I mean, I'm speaking to the choir here, but we need to get more and more people involved with pushing the independent left-wing media types, because the right has had basically a stranglehold or a knee on the neck on the social media when it comes to discussing politics, and we're playing catch up now. And in order for us to play catch up and actually catch up, we need to have all hands on deck. We need to be pushing all these shows. We need to get everybody, be like, look, you need to support these shows. They're doing the fight that needs to be done. They're fighting the good fight. They're making sure that people are informed and educated about what is going on, why these people are fascist, why these things are unconstitutional. And I think many of us who are part of kind of the Sparkler Radio Network, if you want to call it that, many of us approach the issues from different ways, like and bring different things to the table. Hal, immensely intelligent, will go through these videos and go through them with a fine-toothed comb, and will bring his share of both intelligence and wit to discussing these things. I think I bring things like my legal analysis for somebody who's a layperson, I think will be spot on. There's plenty of videos where you can see that from before. And as the new Supreme Court rulings come out in new session, we'll be going over those as well. But everybody has a role to play in the war to come, to sound like I'm from Game of Thrones, right? There is a role for everybody to play in the war to come, and this war is going to be for our freedom. This war is going to be for our rights. This war is going to be for our country. This war is going to be for our planet. This war is going to be against fascism. And the war doesn't have to be a violent war at this point. It just has to be people standing up and speaking out, shining a light on these ICE Maralagestapo tactics, and fighting back and protecting the people who need protection the most. And we can't do it without all hands on deck. So I'm calling out to you, I'm imploring you, begging you. It's not just about me. I would love for it to be about me, but it's not. I would love for everybody just to help me out, and that'd be great. But no, actually, don't even want that. Misspeaking about that. I don't want people just to help me. I want people to help everybody else, because again, I care about other people than just myself. Now, obviously, I do want people to help me, but I don't want people to just help me. That's the way to put it, right? Thank you, Damon, for gifting a Liberal Dan Radio membership. Appreciate you for that. One Vision, I hope, appreciates you as well, right? Let's see. Trumpy Miller and Hegseth are trying to make everyone submit to them. Yeah, which is sad. And it's weird because, there's an old video that I saw the other day with Pete Hegseth talking on Fox News about how if you're a troop, if you're a soldier, you cannot violate the Constitution, and you have to reject and not follow illegal orders. He had faith that the military would not follow the illegal orders. So if Trump gives orders that are illegal, he expects them to follow them. But
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, that screen fell play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
yeah, there you go. See, there you go. I wasn't even looking at the chat for Twitch, and I was ready for you. I was ready for you to be wanting me to say that. So I spent so long trying to farm that, and you did it just as I was playing a Sudoku puzzle. Well, it gives you a little jam to dance to the Sudoku puzzle. Thank you, Molly, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Again, thank you so much. And again, to all the people who can't afford the super chat, because then again, this is a shit economy. If you can't afford the super chat, again, the best thing you could do, spend a couple minutes a day, like, comment, share on many of the videos that I'm posting. Look, I think I'm doing well with the whatchamacallit, with the Opus Clip stuff, with the short videos that are coming out. I mean, I clearly am, because the amount of views that I'm getting on my channel are skyrocketing. It's not that the subscriptions aren't catching up, but the number of views I'm getting is like skyrocketing. But we absolutely need more people sharing more stuff, more people commenting on more stuff, more people liking more stuff, etc. I think, again, Riverboat Jack, another one who you should be following, says that the comments are the most important thing you can do. But I think any amount of interaction should help with the show and should help the algorithm because, again, as we say, Al Gore needs more rhythm. So, let's see. Victor, thank you, Molly. Out-of-pocket med expenses hammering us now. Exactly. Oh, like I maxed out. I hit my max out-of-pocket last year for the family. So not only did we spend 12 grand on insurance premiums, we spent another 8 grand on overall health costs, and that doesn't include vision or dental. So I actually just had to pay a $77 bill today from dental because I completely forgot that I had one owned. So Nick Rich says, how important could it be? How important could what be? That's what I'm asking. Anyway. Hey, Trisha, good to see you. Thank you for joining over on Twitch. Appreciate you. What else? Trisha certificate farming for the comments. You know, I like to give a little tease, right? Talk a little bit of stuff, take a little back, right? Yeah, the American healthcare system is a scam. Oh, absolutely, the American healthcare system is a scam. And they're trying to make it worse. That's the problem. They're trying to make it worse. But still, again, the Affordable Care Act, under the Affordable Care Act, I'm not going to sit here that I expected it to happen under, that expected to not have to still pay that much money. Now, granted, the Affordable Care Act made it so that there's that you can't be charged more than a certain amount. Like the Affordable Care Act made sure that, for example, an insurance company could say, we're only going to cover $500,000 worth of expenses and then cut you off. Because apparently, because what they used to do is say, oh, you're too sick, sorry, we're not covering you anymore. It's not how insurance is supposed to work, right? Insurance is supposed to work in a way that basically says, oh, I'm going to pay for this in case I get sick, and if I do, you're going to cover me. That's at least what should happen. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. Now, there are flaws with the Affordable Care Act. It's not perfect. If you've, listened to the show before, we've covered it. The whole 80-20 rule where where an insurance company can only keep 20% for non-medical related expenses, like for your internal costs, for profit, etc. Insurance companies have to spend at least 80% of premium dollars on health insurance. So how do they do that? How do they make more money while being capped at that 80%? Well, what they do is they increase the amount of money that they reimburse to doctors and hospitals, etc. And when they do that, let's say again, if what you would make off of $100 worth of premium, let's say the premiums are now $150, now, for whatever, like you're just using $100, $150 as a metric. For every $100 spent, you have to spend 80 on healthcare and only keep 20 for profit and other costs. Well, if it's 150, now the same costs, yeah, you're still giving the doctors more, but you're also keeping more money for yourself for the same procedures, for the same operations, for the same activities that you would normally be done. So the Affordable Care Act actually makes it so that you might want to increase the healthcare cost overall to be able to have them make more money. So clearly that's something that it got wrong, but still with that fault, it's much better than what we used to have, and it's infinitely better than the plan that the conservatives have, because MAGA, Trump, doesn't have a plan. As they said, they only have a concept of a plan. So Victor says our ACA went up $200 a month to $400 thanks to GOP. I mean, hell, my insurance went up $200 a month from what it was. Again, $1,000 a month just because. And now, not even going to have it. I don't know how long that plan's going to last. So once I have to find a new job and get a new plan, the deductible resets. Anyway. Trump did away with one big leg of the three-legged stool in 27 tax bill, but it's still chugging along. Over worse yet, you have a pre-existing condition, so F you. Exactly. The Affordable Care Act does, people don't understand why you needed a mandate with pre-existing condition clauses. But, I used to work in insurance as well, so I understand these things, and I'm trying to explain it to people. And basically, if you don't understand the concept of anti-selection, the concept of that fact that if you ban pre-existing condition clauses without having a mandate, you basically end up allowing people to buy insurance whenever they get sick, and that's not how insurance is supposed to work. So you should be paying for insurance all the time, so when you get sick, you get covered. That's how insurance is supposed to work. But you had to get rid of pre-existing condition clauses because of the abuse that was going on of pre-existing condition clauses. Just like the Affordable Care Act got rid of rescission, where they could say, okay, we've spent too much money on you and this plan, so we're going to cancel your individual plan. You can no longer do that under the Affordable Care Act. Rescission is illegal. The only way to get rid of a line of business is to just stop doing business altogether. And of course, when Obama said you can keep your plan, you can keep your doctor, idiot conservatives are like, oh, so if my insurance company decides to shut down, that means Obama lied, right? This is how dumb conservatives can be. So, DPD, we must push for Medicare for all because something's inherently wrong when our representatives and senators are guaranteed health care on our dime, but everyone else has to fend for themselves. Yeah, exactly. But even if it's not Medicare for all, even if they manage to get to something similar by allowing a public option and allowing you to buy into the public option with your tax dollars, I'm fine with that too as a step to get to the right thing. Because again, there's nothing wrong with taking steps to get to where you eventually want to go, but at some point you have to actually get there. But too many people are fighting back against Medicare for all. Now again, I support Medicare for all over, having a public option. So that's a thing. But if the public option is the only thing you can get, you take that and then you push further. Once people start realizing, oh, I'm doing much better for myself and my family with the public option, then more people will opt in. And you'd think that getting more healthy people into the affordable care, into a Medicare for all type plan would be beneficial to Medicare because you're having more healthy people, which are going to offset your costs. It's going to make a pooling effect. It's going to bring people's costs down. That's how insurance is supposed to work. But it doesn't in the minds of brain-dead conservatives. So, Damon Dog, I hope Dems get veto proof in both houses and start fixing stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, you have to override the veto to be a veto proof majority. Yeah, you're right. Correct. I was like, was that worded right? Yes, you absolutely worded correctly. Let's see. They claimed because you didn't include that you had acne as a tin, you lied in your insurance forms, you don't have to pay for care. Exactly. That is the one of the cases that I absolutely use. They denied somebody cancer treatment because they didn't disclose acne on their application, which they called a material misrepresentation. How leaving out acne as a kid would be a material misrepresentation and as such cause them to be able to cancel the policy is a bunch of bullshit. It's just them not wanting to pay money. For as much as people like to talk bad about trial lawyers and how they're greedy and they go after, and, they cause all of our rates to go up, and cause, costs to go up for, car crashes or whatever. One of the attorneys down here locally does make a great point. The reason that billion-dollar insurance companies become billion-dollar insurance companies is not because they pay out all the time like they're supposed to. It's because they reject claims all the live-long day. They reject medical claims. They reject vehicle insurance claim. They reject homeowner insurance claims, named storm claims, etc. They fight, and force you to fight to get the money that you're owed. So if you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, and you're complaining about trial lawyers, and you're complaining about how the trial lawyers are causing costs to rise, well, maybe you should look at the people who work for these insurance companies who are not paying out when they should, because you shouldn't have to. It should be an automatic, boom, you're paid. You're paid your medical bills. We've paid your lost wages. There should be some sort of formula that says this is what they pay. And if they don't pay it, then you get an attorney. And then you get what you're supposed to be paid. Plus, then you should be able to also get on top of that the legal expenses so you're not coming out of pocket and you're not still at a net loss for what happened. So, let's see. Start your own business, Dan, to counter ICE. Call it antifreeze. All right, we're taking we might not start our own business, but we will put ICE t-shirt antifreeze. We're going to try and come up with a shirt idea for that as well. Solution for ICE, antifreeze, right? We'll work on that. Let's see, what else did I miss? What did I miss? The dumbest rebuttal to AC I've ever heard of is you're paying for the health care of old people. It's like, do you not know how insurance works? Well, yeah, I mean, the old people get Medicare. We're already paying into a Medicare system, and old people are getting the benefit from it. But one of the one thing that I find dumb, atrocious at every game, is the one they're like, you're paying for maternity care. Like it says every plan has to cover maternity care. So, but why do old people, why does an octogenarian have to pay for maternity care? They don't have to pay for maternity care. Because if I'm rating a policy as somebody who rates risk for an insurance company, and I say, oh, what is the actuarial cost of having an octogenarian get coverage for pregnancies, I'll tell you what that actuarial cost is. 0. It doesn't cost you any additional money to have pregnancy coverage for octogenarians. It doesn't cost you any additional money to have cis men covered for pregnancy either. The actuarial cost for cis men getting pregnant is 0. So if an insurance company is increasing prices on its customers because they say they have to pay the actuarial costs for everybody to be pregnant and have, maternity costs or whatever, even though those people aren't getting pregnant, it's the insurance company. If they're raising the rates to include the guys and the octogenarians and the people who are too young to get pregnant, including all that stuff, guess what? It's the insurance company that's ripping us off, not the law. It's the insurance companies. Again, why would you expect anything different, right? See, they don't care how insurance works. They want to be sure that minorities don't get the same health care that they do. Pretty much. Because again, if they get what they want, which to me is partially having more deaths in this country and basically being eugenicists. They will talk about Margaret Sanger being a eugenicist and claim that Planned Parenthood is a eugenicist organization, but in reality, it's these policies that kill more people than any on the left do. So I guess the feature of having eugenicist Republicans in office is that as more people die off, you're going to spend less time waiting for a hospital room, right? It's one of the reasons, again, during COVID, why we wanted to make sure that people had masked up, had their vaccinations when they became available, were socially distanced with each other. The reason why is not just to protect the individuals, not just to protect the people from catching it, but it was to stop the emergency rooms from getting overwhelmed, to stop the hospitals from getting overwhelmed, and they were getting overwhelmed. Because when you have somebody who is planning for public health, if you're planning on public health and you're basically saying, okay, this is how many people get hospitalized with the flu every given year. This is the amount of people that hospitalized with a vehicle accident every year. Cancer every year, yada, yada, yada. So they're going to take hospitals and they're going to make sure you have enough beds in a particular area, plus enough extra beds for wiggle room to make sure that everybody who needs a hospital bed can get a hospital bed. That being said, these people didn't give a shit about that. These people went out and partied and didn't wear masks and didn't socially distance and lather, rinse, repeat. We ended up getting emergency rooms getting overcrowded. There were negative rooms in Alabama when we were evacuating for Hurricane Ida. Like, we didn't need one, but we just happened to be driving through Alabama, and I was actually shocked because we stopped at I think the Buc-ee's in Alabama or whatever. And when we stopped at the Buc-ee's, many people were wearing masks. I'm like, how is this happening? And then I realized, oh, there's a bunch of New Orleans Saints shirts around us too. So most of the people here are evacuating Ida from New Orleans. And so most of these people are doing the right thing because they're more likely to be on the left and care about the people around them. Right? So, but when you have public health planners who say, okay, we're going to need X amount of beds in a particular area for any given time, and then a pandemic comes along and people don't listen to the public health experts, you then end up getting people who have to be turned away from the emergency room, have to be turned away from the hospital, can't get the medical procedures that they need. Why? Because other people are in there dying, because they did things they weren't supposed to be doing during the pandemic. Hey, TV2 Live, good to see you as well. I still want the Liberal Dan t-shirt with your logo on the front and big QR code in the back for linking to your show. That is going to happen, Jolie, I promise you. Again, trying to find, maybe I'll do that tonight. We'll see. But I want to make one special for you specifically because I owe you a shirt, first of all. So I want to make it special for you specifically. So if anybody who is owed a shirt from contributing to the GoFundMe wants that type of shirt as well, I will happily give it to you. Jolie, what color do you want on the front? Do you want it to be like a gold colored one, like my old Liberal Dan Radio shirt or whatever? Do you want that to be the case, or do you want it to be some other color? Do you want it the basic colors? Let me know and I'll design it up at some point soon. So Damon Dog, do you ever notice that the countries with universal health care never try to repeal it? I wonder why that is. Hey, Susie, good to see you. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you. Pam, I worked for a not-for-profit insurance company, and their software declined to pay all but the simplest, most straightforward claims. Anything complex was denied, forcing the providers to resubmit, and when it got submitted with additional forms, it eventually got shunted to a human being who had to follow a series of steps to determine if they were allowed to pay it, or just shunted onto somebody who had authority. But the software baseline response to any complex claim was denied automatically. And that's a damn fucking shame. To me, there should be a law. As I worked for an insurance company as well. Thank you for the follow, Storgos, or however it's pronounced. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. But to me, there should be a rule. There should be a law that basically says if an insurance company operating in the United States, or anywhere really, but we can only create United States rules for the United States, right? So if there should be a law that says if you are going to deny a claim automatically with software, every denied claim should have to be double-checked automatically by a human being to verify that it's correct before it's officially denied. And then, of course, you're going to go through the steps of the appeals process, because there is going to be cases where appeals process takes place. Because, yeah, there are some cases where people order medical procedures that are unnecessary, and that's fine to deny absolutely unnecessary medical claims. The problem is that you have a not-for-profit over here saying that claims can't be covered. But then again, saying that something is a not-for-profit doesn't mean that it doesn't operate like a for-profit company. For example, there's Ochsner Healthcare System here in the New Orleans area. They are a not-for-profit hospital organization, but they're constantly buying up other properties, other whatever, and they pay their executives a whole shit ton of money, because you can operate a not-for-profit business in the same manner that for-profit businesses operate. It's just you can't turn a profit, but you can still pay out your executives a whole shit ton of money. And while that's all publicly available, it's still bullshit, and they still shouldn't be able to do it. White, so I can dye it. But do you want okay, Jolie, do you want the shirt white, but do you want the, what color do you want the Liberal Dan Radio logo? Do you want that to be like the regular red, black, and purple one, or do you want it to be a different color, like the gold one or whatever? Just asking. But I'll put it on a white shirt for you. But anyway, so Storgos goes, no disrespect or hate, just a UK perspective. I hope America smartens up. I've seen the left damage itself through bad policy and democracy issues, while the right lied, avoided responsibility, and gave up. Both sides just blame each other, and the UK is now in chaos. I don't want that for the USA, so it has so much going on and more freedom than it realizes. We do. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people are like, well, if you hate this country, why are you here? Well, just because we don't hate the country in and of itself, we hate what the country is doing. And especially we hate what the current leadership is doing in the name of our country. But even though, we can still say that America's, the country that we want to live in, but still point out the flaws that America has. Because that's another difference between the people on the left and the people on the right. The people on the left can look at things as not being binary. It's not you either love the entirety of America or you hate it. You can have a relationship with the country that says, okay, these are the things that I like about America. These are the things that are great. You can sit here and say that America is still a land of opportunity for many people. And that's why still so many people want to show up and get here, because they want to live the American dream. Even though right now it's more like a nightmare. But they want to be able to live the American dream. But even the people who already live here and say, we do want to live the American dream, and we want the American dream to be better. We want to improve on the American dream. We want to stop this administration from doing all the horrible things that they're doing. And both can be true at the same time. You can be mad at your country for doing horrible things while still wanting to be a part of your country and wanting to make your country better. Just like you can be mad at somebody you love, and that doesn't mean you stopped loving them. It just means they did something to piss you off and you work it out, right? So Storgos goes, though I fall more towards the right, I'm thankful and respectful for your respectful and fair response. Well, I appreciate you being here. And, we're here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central most weeks. If I'm not there, I'm on my social media channels. We'll let you know or whatever. But, both on here on or on YouTube, we're just, there's plenty of more content on YouTube, I think. I've been trying to make sure that these videos go live automatically so you can rewatch any of the old shows that have not expired or whatever. Storgos, though, I do want to ask, you followed more towards the right or whatever. You're from the UK. What part of the UK are you from? Are you in like England proper? Are you in Ireland? Are you in Scotland? What part are you from? Pam Matthew goes, my country, right or wrong, when right to be kept right, when wrong to be put right. Exactly. Well, it's also like there is there's one kid in my the friend group that my kids are a part of, and there's one kid who's just a whiny, sniveling little shit, and he's just like, they get aggravated with him a lot because he has some problems or whatever, and not problems like, you know, mental problems, and like he's like, there's not a mental disability or something, at least not that I'm aware of, but he's just can be a little shit sometimes, as some kids can be. But the moment they were all out together and somebody from outside of our group started picking on that kid, oh, they formed a circle around that kid and said, nope, he's ours to mess with. You don't get to mess with him. So just like, you know, we can sit here and hate the things that the country is doing, but if somebody were to attack us, we can still be pissed off at them. But that's the thing. A lot of us view Donald Trump as attacking what's good in this country. Donald Trump himself is attacking this country. ICE is attacking this country and attacking the ideals that this country is supposed to have. So, let's see. Strogos goes, I'm from Northern England. Though we are English, we share a lot with Scotland. Well, if you share a lot with Scotland, you know what they say.
If it's no Scottish, it's crap.
There you go. And that's what I was trying to do that. If you didn't say you shared a lot with Scotland, or if you didn't say you were from Scotland, I was going to point to Steve, who is from Scotland, over in the YouTube chat. So, Big Hook, America is no longer a good bet. There is, as there is every 4-year possibility of electing a Republican president, and the country and economy are going to shit, starting wars abroad. Exactly. Not to mention how many people he has killed in his personal time. True. Well, there's the baby that was apparently dropped in Lake Michigan, right? But yeah. All right, Jolie, I see you, and I'll work on that maybe tonight. You'll see. Whatchamacallit. But there was another thing. What was the other thing I was talking about? It was brought up by something that somebody else said, and I was remembering it, and now I'm not remembering what it is I wanted to bring up. God damn it! I always get distracted, like squirrel, and then don't get to say the thing that I wanted to say about this, you know, the country and the horrible shit it is doing. There's so much horrible shit that we're doing that sometimes it's hard to keep track. There was a bit by Jim Jeffries, or a stand-up segment by Jim Jeffries that I shared, and he's from Australia, and he was talking about all of the stuff that Donald Trump campaigned on or whatever, all the stuff that he said, and you sit there and I'm watching it, and I'm like, yep, he said that, yep, he said that, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot that he said that too. He does so much terrible shit that sometimes you forget some of the horrible shit that he does. I mean, Big Hook says I have an eidetic memory, but even then, I still will forget some of the shit that he does because it's just so much shit. Again, he floods the zone. They want to flood the zone with so much that we get overwhelmed, so we either lose the energy to be able to talk about it and fight back against it, or we just forget about it because he's able to distract us from the Epstein files by going after the Venezuelan oil, even though Lawrence O'Donnell says we're not going after the oil after we seize 5 tankers. Has anybody watched Lawrence O'Donnell since I criticized him and seen if he said I was wrong about that we were not going to take the oil from Venezuela? I really want to know, because I don't get to watch him every night. But every time I catch him on the air, because I'm not busy doing something else like applying for jobs or doing work on the job that I currently have, etc. I always tend to catch him doing something that just pisses me off. But I'm wondering if he's ever actually said, "Oops, I was wrong. Oops, I was wrong about Venezuela and not taking their oil." I wonder if he's going to say, "Oops," if we ever do anything about, Greenland. But I mean, Greenland might very well be where World War III starts at this point, because you already have Germany sending ships over to help defend Greenland from their NATO ally, the U.S. Because again, Donald Trump said, the easy way or the hard way, we're taking Greenland. Because I guess you don't tell Donald Trump no, because he doesn't listen to no anyway, because Donald Trump doesn't understand consent. Whether or not he gets Greenland or not, or whether or not he grabs somebody by the hoo-ha. He has no care in the world about the people who he harms, the people who he affects. As long as he gets the benefit from it, he's going to do it. So, Damon Dog, I pay good money to forget stuff. Sometimes I do too. Anyway, and I'm sorry we haven't opened up the phone lines in a good bit. I'm probably not going to open it up again today because, again, it's almost 10 o'clock. Have to wake up in the morning, and I have to also, get in some more job search stuff done in the short time. And they've made job searching a lot more difficult these days. You'd think that job searching would be made easy with the advent of things like artificial intelligence. You think job searching would be easy with the advent of, modern technology and sites like LinkedIn? No, it's not. Why is it not easy? Because now that you have the ability to use tools to cater your resume and to cater your resumes now too, to match what you want job-wise, and for whatever employer you're trying to interview for, whatever employer you're trying to find a job with. Now you have to cater. Now you have to change your resume every time. Oh, here's my resume for this job. Here's my resume for this job. Here's my resume for this job. And then you have to do the same thing with your cover letter as well. Cover letter is a little more easy. You can say, hey, here, take my resume, take the job requirements, make a cover letter for it, boom. Then read the cover letter to make sure it's not saying things that are factually incorrect. Make sure that it doesn't make any mistakes, but still, it makes it a little easier to make cover letters, so you don't have to sit there and do that, rewrite a new letter. You just have AI spit it out, and even LinkedIn will do it for you if you pay for their services. But yeah, it just, you now have to keep track and make sure, because I heard stories today from some of the recruiters at the firm that I work for still, that those people have said that they would get like cover letters across their desk or in their emails, and the cover letter would say, oh, this is a cover letter for the interview for company X when this is company Y. Oh, you fucked up. Oh, sorry. We're going to probably put your resume to the side now because you can't even be bothered to check that little tiny thing. How are we going to expect you to be a lawyer, an attorney who makes sure to check all your boxes, right? Or a paralegal or a legal secretary, make sure that they check all the boxes. Or even if you're a software developer and you want to make sure that you test everything properly. So anyway, let's see. CBS is a station with Barry Weiss, so you can see BS. Well, yeah, that's true too. But again, I've been complaining about the failing media, who not equipped to fight this new world order, because they will they are more worried about their corporate greed than they are anything else. They will more worried about making money than anything else. So thank you, Jolie, for sharing the link to the Patreon, for sharing our link to the Venmo. We will let's see. At DBT, everything has become more difficult these days, unfortunately. Yes, very true. Interesting thing today that happened, our new mayor for the city of New Orleans did get inaugurated today, and the person that swore her in was former Vice President Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris is going to be here tomorrow. I guess she's giving her book tour or whatever, but unless I can find cheap cheap Groupon seats like I did for the Joe Biden thing, I won't be going. Now, if I do find $20 tickets or whatever, because that's one thing that Joe Biden did, and that was great. People were like, how the hell did you get those seats? Because I knew people who paid a whole bunch of money for Joe Biden's book tour before he ran for president. And those people were sitting up in the balcony, and then we found on Groupon 2 seats, and I'm like, okay, good. And then I'm like, oh, these seats are like 10th row? What the hell's going on? And because they purposely and specifically made it so that the people who paid for the Groupons got the better seats, which is nice of them to do. So Benny Loco posted the Substack link, which is Epstein victim audio interviews. Very, very disturbing. Unfortunately, I think Benny has blocked me at this point. I think Benny got annoyed at me for some reason. So Benny is not a Danimal at this point. But if you can email me that link, I'll be glad to see it. Just email me liberaldanradio@gmail.com, and I would love to see that. Anyway. So I think it's 10 o'clock. 2 hours in, despite the little hiccup or whatever, we will go ahead and probably end the show. We'll play a couple of songs. The first one we'll play is the Demonox song, which I usually play at the start of each show, but because we had the Hal raid, I ended the music early. So we'll play that song. We'll play a couple other songs. Again, remember, not the Bustin' song, not the first song, and not my theme song, but the other 4 songs, the Hoax, the Had Biden Done It, the If Trump Can't See It, and the Baby Incubator song. We'll play the Baby Incubator song second since we hadn't played it yet. All those 4 songs are available both on YouTube for sharing and on Spotify. So go check them out on Spotify. There is a Liberal Dan Radio playlist. Look it up, check it out, support the show, share it around all over the place. Let's just hope, that we can maybe get it going. That we could start getting some traction, make one of those songs go viral. So anyway, thank everybody for showing up. Thank you everybody again for the super chats. We got Mike and Molly. Is that a TV show, Mike and Molly? Mike and Molly both contributed $10 for super chats. Appreciate you. Damon Dog gifted a membership, so appreciate you for that as well. And yes, Trish, I did have a Sparklers raid. It was like 94 people or whatever that came in, and by the time I got done with the music, we were at 35, and now we're only at 11 on Twitch. So, but again, I'm not going to complain about it. I'm very grateful that Hal will support the show with raids twice in the last 2 or 3 times in the last week now. So appreciate Hal for that. I definitely could use the help, especially because, again, we're struggling over here in New Orleans. We're struggling here in this country. So, and we're struggling because, well, I need to find a new job at some point. Sometime in the next 2 months, I think it is. Unless I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm screwed. But there was an interesting thing that I saw that when I was looking at LinkedIn, I found a post from my employer, and it was like, hey, congratulations to this new person who just got hired on as an associate for the firm. And it was 1 week ago. And it was six days ago when they announced that the firm was dissolving. I'm like, can you imagine getting hired by someplace and being very excited about being hired by someplace, and then the place going, oh, we're dissolving tomorrow, by the way. Like, that's just crazy. But again, that's all publicly available stuff. So I'm not saying anything that's new. That's all available on LinkedIn. So it's not like I'm saying anything that is secret from the company. So I'm just like, oh, that poor guy. I feel sorry for that guy too. I'm going to take this great job at this new firm, and then all of a sudden, oops, the members decided to dissolve. Or not even, the equity members decided to dissolve it. Anyway, good luck for your job search too as well, Trish. I mean, I'm Daniel J. Zimmerman on LinkedIn if you want to hook up there as well, and just we can, share each other's stuff or whatever. Because again, forming networks is one of the things you do to find a new job, right? So anyway, thank everybody so much for the support, for helping watch the show, for hitting all the emotes and liking and sharing and subscribing and all that good stuff. I hope to see you again in Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Central on liberaldanradio.com or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. Again, either way gets you there. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night.
This just in. A sudden spike in logic levels across the city. Citizens report seeing a man with glasses and a podcast mic. We go now live to Liberal Dan. Yo, who you gonna call when Nazi writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, cause we got a plan. The right wing talking shit, but he ain't about to quit. He'll take his proton pack and zap your logic cause it's whack. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall.
It's being reported that Liberal Dan is setting up what appears to be some sort of straw man containment field.
He's calling out your lies with his mic, he'll vaporize. Cross the streams in your dreams, bitch, you know that he's too wise. You're like Slimer talking crap, but you walked into his trap. Yo, it's more than entertainment, it's misinformation containment. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. The Statue Liberty, the writing you can see. So bring the huddled masses, it's a war of the classes. While Trump may think he's Vigo, Dan can cut through that ego. He's got the facts to prove him wrong, got that logic like Egon. Your logic is a ghost, cause this chick is toast. When you follow MTG, it's conspiracy, you'll see. There's no need to taser, he's got wit like Occam's razor. Liberal Dan cuts those lies with his Jewish space laser.
It's unbelievable. Liberal Dan just used the literal dog whistle.
to lure a large group of internet trolls into what is being called a self-collapsing rhetoric singularity. In all my years of reporting, I've never seen anything like this.
So don't call to be a heckler. You ain't no Judge Rexler. He'll bust you like scolery, cause your logic's looking hairy. Right-wing callers think they're cool, but they sounding just like Zool. You the dog, he the man, and yo, his name is Liberal Dan. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, 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 and the rhetoric will fall. Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan.
They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect. But they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights rolled back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still. Just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, more numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten. Hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist. The testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, an administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Of documents stacked floor to the wall, top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed, but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Encampments downtown, tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't beat. Hide them away so the cameras can't find the proof of a system that's cold and unkind. Of chaos in secret and NDA signed. An illegal bribe, Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag, cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
Gather round everyone and I'll tell you a tale about an orange-faced buffoon who should be in a jail. When people say he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth to say it's all a hoax. distractions like real sugar and cokes. Confronting with the truth, you'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, a hoax. He says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.